The story begins in 1480 when Prince Vlad lived with his wife Elizabeth in Romania. Vlad loved Elizabeth deeply, and both were spending quality time together. Then a soldier brought sad news that the Ottoman Empire has declared war. That's why they have to go. Vlad did not want to leave Elizabeth, but he agreed to protect the people and ordered his soldiers to shift her to another palace to protect Elizabeth. After this, the soldiers take Elizabeth to another palace, while Vlad goes to the Pope in his robes to receive blessings. Along with his victory, he also asks him to pray for Elizabeth's safety because for him, his wife was everything. He asked the priest to pray that Elizabeth is not harmed because if something happens to her, Vlad will not be able to live. After this, he goes to the battlefield with his army to face the enemy. The enemy's army was ready with weapons. Vlad, together with his soldiers, set fire to barrels to trap them and attack those who survived with arrows and swords. In this way, he won the war and killed the enemy's army. On the other hand, some Ottoman soldiers attacked Elizabeth and the soldiers accompanying her. The soldiers were killed, but Elizabeth somehow managed to get on her horse and escape. But the enemy soldiers were still after her. Soon this news reached Vlad and he set out to save his wife. But it was too late. The enemy soldiers had badly injured Elizabeth. She was sitting on the ground counting her last moments. Vlad killed all the soldiers in anger and took Elizabeth in his arms. She saw Vlad for the last time and died. Vlad was shocked by Elizabeth's death. He went to the palace in a fit of anger and asked the priest if he did not pray for his wife. The Pope said that he did whatever he could, but this is destiny. Vlad's anger did not subside. And he told the Pope that he would bring Elizabeth back to life. But this was not possible. The Pope said that she would be born again, and he would meet his wife again. He just had to have faith in God. But Vlad had lost faith in God. He announced in the assembly that God does not exist. After today, he will not even take God's name. After this, he asked the Pope about his future, but the Pope said that he was only God's mediator. Then Vlad picked up a soldier's stick and put the Pope to sleep forever. But before he died, the Pope cursed Vlad that he would wander like this all his life, but not in the form of a human being, but like a demon or a vampire. After killing the Pope, as soon as Vlad spread his arms, strong winds began to blow in the whole room. Jesus' statue shed a tear of blood, and Vlad's soldiers pulled him out. Then the story jumps around 400 years later, where we see Dr. Dumont, who was very upset and was leaving the hospital to go to a priest living in a nearby church. Dr. Dumont has a patient named Maria, who used to be a playful girl and was going to marry the grandson of the Queen of England, Henry. But on the wedding day, something happened to Maria, and she started doing strange things. Dumont and his team tried a lot, but they could not find out what exactly happened to Maria. So Dumont thinks that this disease is not going to be cured by medicine. The priest agrees to help Dumont as soon as he hears this. They go to a basement where Maria was tied with chains. She starts laughing loudly when she sees the priest, the doctor, and his secretary. The priest understands what has happened to Maria as soon as he checks her. He opens the window of the room as soon as she sees the light of the sun. Maria starts screaming loudly. The priest tells them that this is a vampire, but Dumont thought it was some kind of madness. To convince Dumont, the priest tells Maria to tell everything about herself and her master, but Maria was not convinced. Then the priest gives her 2 drops of blood, and she starts spilling everything. She tells him that her master is a prince who will reach here at any time. She further tells him that the prince is looking for his princess, who is very beautiful. After this, she asks for more blood, but the priest tells her to stay here. He tells Dumont that he has been researching vampires for a long time. Before the prince comes here looking for his princess, they will have to find the princess, because she is the only one who can help him save the world from vampires. On the other hand, we see a man named Jonathan, who is left alone in a snowy jungle full of wolves. The driver of the horse cart refuses to go ahead. Jonathan takes his machete and a weapon and decides to proceed on foot. Then he feels like the wolves are behind him. He moves forward quickly. To save his life, he was still looking for a safe place. In the meantime, he sees a shadow of a palace. He moves forward in the same direction and breathes a sigh of relief, seeing a big palace in front of him. The door of the palace opens on its own, as if an invisible force is operating it. In the same way, the doors open one after the other and close on their own. Then an old and strange person comes in front of him, who throws the machete from Jonathan's hand into a corner. The whole palace is illuminated by the light. Jonathan introduces himself to that person and tells his name and work. Jonathan says that he met a girl in England. The girl told him that this palace is very expensive and he wants to sell it. This person also introduced himself and said that he is Vlad II. He is the same King Vlad whom we saw at the beginning of the story. Vlad also tells Jonathan that if he wants, he can also call him Dracula. However, the reason why Jonathan came to the palace and the girl he was talking about Dracula himself was unaware of, but he thought that she might be his maid. After this, Dracula feeds Jonathan and then leaves him to rest in a room. He also says that no matter what happens, he should not come out of the room at night. Jonathan certainly found this strange, but he did not pay any attention and got busy with his work. On the other hand, the priest meets Henry, Maria's future husband. Henry was worried about Maria, but the priest calms him down and checks Maria's room, where he finds a torn page of a book and also a bottle of wine. When Dracula also sees a book wandering around in his palace, its page was also missing. Maria had that page of Dracula's book. After a while, Jonathan starts to hear some strange and pitiful voices from the palace, and he can't help it. Despite Dracula's refusal, he starts to roam outside in the alley and reaches the cellar where he sees a coffin, and as soon as he opens the coffin, Dracula was resting in it. Without opening his eyes, he tells Jonathan that he should not have come out of the room. Meanwhile, someone attacks Jonathan from behind, and when he comes to his senses, he finds himself chained in the same place Jonathan calls God's name, and Dracula hangs him upside down, telling him not to do this. Also putting a cut on his neck and telling his truth, he says that he is a vampire who has been alive for centuries, and now he is going to kill Jonathan and drink his blood. Jonathan did not want to die, so as soon as Dracula asked him his last wish, Jonathan said that I want to know what your story is. Dracula knew that it would take a long time, but it was his duty to fulfill the last wish of his prey. So he ties him to the chair, remembers his past days, and tells that 400 years ago, he used to be a king, King Vlad, and he also had complete faith in God. But then his wife died, and he lost his faith in God. The priest had said that his wife will be born again, and they will meet again. So he started looking for his wife and went to every corner of the world. He went to India, and here he learned to make a special kind of perfume which could control people. While roaming around, he also hunted people and drank their blood. Meanwhile, he reached a party in Warsaw, and here he met a girl named Isabel. Dracula thought that Isabel was his queen, but soon this misunderstanding of his was cleared, and he got angry and killed all the women who came to the party with Isabel, one of whom was Maria. After this, he started making people his slaves because he understood that it is not only his ability to find Isabel. Only the slaves will be able to help him. So now he does not suck the blood of people and kill them, but makes them his slaves. After listening to the story, Jonathan gives him the promise of his love so that he leaves him. He shows his fiancée Mina's picture to Dracula, which was exactly like Elizabeth. Looking at the picture, Dracula goes crazy because she was not Mina, but his Elizabeth, who has been born again. He asks Jonathan who sent him here. Jonathan tells that he met King Henry's future wife Maria some time ago. Later, Jonathan introduced Maria to Mina, and only after meeting Mina, she told Jonathan about this palace. Hearing this, Dracula understands that his slave vampire Maria had found his wife. That's why he sent Jonathan here. Thinking this, he happily dances and orders his slaves to capture Jonathan, because now he was going to England to take his Elizabeth, that is Mina. On the other hand, the priest talks to Dr. Dumont and shows him Elizabeth's picture and says that this is the princess whom the vampire has been looking for the past 400 years. Meanwhile, a young doctor comes to the cabin and informs about a girl who came to meet Maria. This girl was none other than Mina, who had become a very good friend of Maria. She had come here to know about her condition, but Mina was a vampire's friend in the form of Maria. And this time, she was not getting off the neck of Dr. Dumont and the priest. They were thinking the same thing over and over again, that why would a vampire make a girl his friend? So both of them start asking Mina like when and where they met and when they became friends. Mina tells that she met Maria at a party, and since then, they have been very good friends. Along with this, she tells about her engagement to Jonathan. Although the engagement was in a hurry, she is now Jonathan's future wife. But there was no happiness on her face. The priest and the doctor doubted if this was Elizabeth, because her face was matching Elizabeth's face. To clear their doubts, they asked about Mina's likes, dislikes, and her feelings. Mina said that she sometimes feels like she has not been born in this century, but she has been here for a long time. Along with this, she talked deeply about love, and after hearing this, the priest was convinced that this is Elizabeth, whom Dracula is looking for. After this, Mina leaves from here. On the other hand, we see Dracula, who has now come to England and is standing outside a church. He took the disguise of a beggar and told the nun who was peeping from inside that he has been hungry for many days, and it is very cold outside. He needs help. Hearing this, the nun took him inside as an old beggar and started arranging food for him. In a while, a nun comes out with a bowl of soup in her hand and screams, seeing the real face of that beggar. Dracula starts killing all the nuns one by one so that he can look young by drinking their blood. After this, he goes to the same hospital where Maria was kept. He also kills everyone here and frees Maria and gives her work. On one side, where Dracula was slowly approaching his destination, on the other side, Jonathan was sitting in the palace thinking that if he stays here, he will be killed. So he has to do something and get out of here so that he can survive and reach England and save Mina. So he tries to free himself, and luckily his hands also open. After this, he starts running from the back of the palace, although the servants of Dracula come behind him. But Jonathan gets out of here, saving himself from them, and runs straight to England. Here, Mina was sitting in her room and was thinking something, when in the meantime, her best friend Maria comes to her. And Mina is shocked to see Maria. Maria tells her that she has recovered, so the doctors have released her. Mina is very happy to hear this because her best friend was free. After this, Maria tells Mina about a party and also tells her to come with her. Although Mina refuses at first, on Maria's insistence, she agrees to come with her. Then both go to the party where Dracula was already waiting for Mina. After 400 years, seeing his wife, Dracula keeps looking at her. Maria makes them meet and then leaves them alone to talk. Dracula goes around and tries to remind Mina about her past, but Mina did not remember anything. She only remembered that she is going to marry Jonathan. After the party is over, Dracula himself goes to drop Mina at her house. As soon as he enters the room, Mina meets the priest and Jonathan, who were already hiding in her room to tell her the truth. Here, Jonathan's condition is a bit bad, so Mina is also scared. The priest tells her everything who Dracula is and why he came here. But he did not mention anything about Mina's past life, but told her that Dracula has a magical perfume because of which Mina was attracted to him. After this, the priest asked about Maria, to which Mina said that she was fine, so she was released from the hospital. But the priest said that this is not true, but Dracula had released her, and in return he killed all the people present there. He also told her that Maria herself is a vampire. Hearing this, Mina was very surprised. Meanwhile, Jonathan's condition was getting worse, so everyone takes him to the hospital. Here, Mina locks herself in a room and listens to a music box which was given to her by Dracula. Meanwhile, Dracula also reaches here, and Mina asks him to stay away from her. Dracula assures her that he will not harm her and reminds her of what happened 400 years ago through the music box. Mina also remembers her past, and she asks Dracula to stay with her. But for this, she also has to become a vampire. But Dracula was not ready for this. But Mina insists again and again so that he can also stay with her in her world. Then Dracula also agrees and cuts her neck and takes her with him to his palace. Meanwhile, outside Mina's room, her father feels a strange smell, and he understands that Dracula is inside, so he breaks the door of the room with the priest and reaches inside. But now there was nothing there except Mina's cap. It does not take long for the priest to understand that Dracula has taken Mina with him. After this, they reach Henry, where Maria had also returned. Henry hugs her as soon as he sees her, but as soon as Maria bows to cut his neck, the priest kills her. After this, the priest explains everything to Henry, and they set out to kill Dracula. Henry's entire army was with him. They reached the palace where Dracula was happy to meet his wife after 400 years. He shows her the whole house, shows her the room, but then Henry's army attacks here. This time Dracula did not want to part with his wife at any cost, So he hides her in the room and goes ahead to face Henry's army himself. Meanwhile, the army had started shooting at the palace. At Jonathan's signal, the priest and everyone else reached the basement where Dracula used to rest. The same coffin was kept here, and it was shaking. Everyone thought that Dracula was in it, so arrows, spears, and other weapons are used to attack the coffin. But unfortunately, there was no Dracula in it, but he comes from behind Jonathan and starts killing the rest of the people. After this, he also gives the priest a sword, but the priest says that he has not come here to fight him. Dracula also says that his fight is with God, and this time he will not separate from his wife. The priest starts laughing at this, and while explaining to Dracula, he says that you love your wife, but what kind of love is this? What kind of life are you giving her? This life is worse than death. You are deliberately making her an animal, making her a devil. Is this right? If you really love your wife, then give her a good life. And for this you kill yourself, because if you die, she will be fine by herself. She will become a human again and live a good life. Dracula himself was not just a vampire, but a king of vampires. He knew how bad the life of vampires was, but he did not want Elizabeth's life to be like that. So he listens to the priest and locks Elizabeth in the room. At the same time, Elizabeth had also understood what Dracula was going to do. She cries, screams, and tells him not to do this, but Dracula tells the priest to kill him, and the priest attacks his chest and kills him. As soon as Dracula dies, Elizabeth becomes normal again. But she remembered every moment. She could not forget him, even if she wanted to. And Jonathan had also known this. So he does not marry her, but lets her live in the memories of Dracula. With this, the movie also ends. If you liked the video, then don't forget to write your suggestion in comments. Thanks for watching.